Mostly it's just wear and tear. I mean, it's obviously been getting away from 'em. The roof is completely toast. There's multiple layers up there. It's wood shingle underneath. You can see in the attic there's active leakage.
So skip sheeting.
Skip sheeting, so you have to put solid, decking down unless you want to go to a wood shake roof on it. But,
Okay.
so it's just skip sheeting up there now. It's flat on the peak, and I didn't go. I'm just doing from. I was kind of surprised it didn't look like it from the outside, but you get up in there and there's a flat area that's probably 6 foot by 10 foot, something like that, and it's leaking too. It's probably torched down or something like that. But there's buckets and pails. And
Okay.
it's got water in them, so it's
Okay.
actively going on. There's some mold up in there. Down low at the eaves, kind of surprising. And there'd been some bird intrusion and stuff like that. Could use some more insulation. All of the above, but I didn't see any damage. So the roof's a complete redo. The chimney's in tough shape. See
Okay.
big gaps in the mortar. The exterior is probably better than it looks. There's
Okay.
some really crude patching where they've downsized windows or removed them completely, and then all the normal cracking and paint deterioration. The biggest cracking that is structural is at that back porch, that back part of the kitchen, the pantry, the half bath. That was all porch. It was enclosed.
Okay.
And invariably, the framing under those things is really substandard, and you can see the framing over the crawl space door is, it's not enough to hold the wall, and that's where most of the cracks are in that bathroom window and stuff like that. So it could use a little bit of work, kind of beef that up. I would do that in conjunction with some stucco work.
Okay.
I'm always worried about stucco houses. I don't know if I had this conversation with you before, but down in Oregon, they had a state GI program that kind of drove the market, and it was really kind of there with FHA and everything else. And there was a lot of stucco houses down there, California influence and stuff. And the problem with the old stuccos is they're also lath and plaster on the inside for the most part. So they're essentially a concrete house inside and outside.
Oh, yeah.
Moisture does not get out. The only place it can get out is around the windows. And so you upgrade to insulated windows, and the moisture stays in, or what would happen is it would hit those old windows and then drop in the wall. With that state GI program, and I was selling real estate at the time and doing a lot of rehab work and stuff, if you wanted their financing, you had to cut the bottom 18 inches of stucco off around the entire perimeter of the house to expose the framing at the exterior wall at the bottom of the wall. And there are many times that I would do that, and literally the house would drop an inch because the stucco was what was holding the house up.
Because the framing was all
moisture
rotted.
would get in there, would go gone. Now there's not that many stuccos around here, but I did one for John Abeel.
Uh-huh.
I remember if it was her client or she was looking at buying it, and somebody had bored some holes under the window on the inside, and it was exactly that. It was just dust, Now I don't see a lot of problems currently. You can see the old stains and the deterioration under the windows on this side. But right now there's no moisture in there. The moisture meter says it's basically dry, but my guess is it wouldn't surprise me, let's put it that way, if we found stuff. Now, you don't see really corroborating evidence on the inside with a lot of cracks and windows and doors all askew and stuff like that. So I'm thinking probably reasonably good shape. At the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if you found stuff, but it would be on this side and the south side. Now, the good news is you don't have a ton of windows
Yeah.
on the south side. They're mostly on this side.
Okay.
So. This thing, of course, is just purely decorative. Now, I don't know that it ever was functional,
The
but there's no
fireplace.
chimney or anything like that.
Oh, that's okay.
It's all faux. So what they've got in there is about all you can do with it, unless you want to do a direct vent gas insert and vent it through the wall,
Okay.
which is doable.
Okay.
But there's no chimney there. Electrical's been upgraded, 125 amp panel and 95 permitted. Everything's clean as a whistle in there. I saw some knob and tube, but it's all been cut. I did see some 2-prong outlets upstairs.
Okay.
And we got the usual limited distribution, more so upstairs than down here. And the basement, there's not much, but everything on this level and the basement that I could check was grounded. Again, in the attic, all I saw was 50's version of the cloth wrapped ungrounded. I didn't see knob and tube. So whenever I see 2-prong this age, I assume we still have some knob and tube, but and there probably is, but there's not going to be much.
Okay.
I think they've got, you know, better than 85% of it. Supply piping is all new, 1-inch copper line, copper throughout, good pressure, constant pressure. Probably there's a regulator on the line that tells me we probably got a whole lot more pressure available. So that was good. And then the drain piping, they've kind of done what they needed to do, which is par for the course. I don't know if they said anything about a basement drainage system. There's a sump pump down by the laundry, and there's just one line feeding it, and you can see the concrete's cut. It kind of runs this way, like maybe they were putting in, you know, one of those perimeter drain systems at the foundation.
Okay.
And would seem to be over on this side, but I'd find out what I could about that. Now, I don't smell anything. Seems to be pretty darn dry at this point in time. So, and structurally, again, a few things I'd probably upgrade. But if you're going to gut the basement, you know, do seismic stuff in anyway. But there's a few beam-end supports on either side of the stairs that are, you know, par for the course for the age. I'd beef them up. They're sitting on 2x4s, you know, instead of 4x4s. Or there's no seismic restraints or anything like that.
Okay.
Really, it's what you see is what you get. We're ahead of the curve on the plumbing and wiring. Furnace was new in January of 14. They just had it serviced January this year. It's high efficiency. They're going to want to do annual service because it's already leaked inside on that condensation drain. It could be there's some restriction in the venting because, you know, it vents through the 2-inch PVC pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Coming out of the furnace, there's literally probably 6 90-degree elbows. You do that and you got restrictions so that moisture stays inside.
Right.
And a lot of times you get some leakage because of that. I would probably redo that. You don't need near that many elbows, and you don't certainly need 90 degrees. Better to stagger in 45s.
We're getting out of your hair.
Okay. I don't mind if they're here.
Did that other agent end up for showing, or?
I saw someone walking around the yard, but I don't know if they came in.
Hey, I tried to upgrade my tools. You can't tell the guy from driving. Sorry
So
about
Joel's
that.
tenant
My bad.
is